Awaken, mother, we welcome you. Awaken, mother, we welcome you. Blessings and thank you for being here today. My name is Maria Rose, and I welcome you to participate with me in this training, Turn Global Frustration into Big Service. I will be your big service coach for today. I am a lover of this earth, a lover of this planet, and in these times that we're facing right now, I feel that I have no other option within my heart and soul but to do something to take a stand for what I see happening and creating a proactive change. So this training is going to be approximately 1 hour, and within this training, you're going to gain some skills. So there's 3 things that will be on the agenda for today. So the first one is to clarify a meaningful service contribution so you can offer your gift to the planet. We each have something that is unique within us that I believe wants to be offered as a piece within this collective puzzle. And we're going to help define what it is specifically for you that you have to offer. Next, we're going to strategize how to effectively implement your contribution so you can broaden your impact. So, of course, you know, oftentimes we have this feeling, I'm just one person, what can I do? Yet when we start to tap into the greater collective web and start to see where we can work in tandem with other efforts and initiatives that are already being put forward, then we can really start to tap into something very powerful to move the collective effort forward. And the last thing that you'll gain from this class is to gain access to a global network of sacred activists who are working together to protect the sacredness of life now and for future generations. So as I mentioned, we are not capable of doing this on our own. And through coming together, being willing to share our ideas, share our solutions, find out how we can pool gifts and resources from different areas, then we can really start to make a larger global impact, and that's the goal. So at the end of this training, I will be offering 2 special opportunities to help you take your efforts of service to the planet to the next level, both personally and collectively. So please stick around for these special opportunities that I'm going to give you to further and deepen on the path after the revelations that come from this training. So right now I want you to begin by closing your eyes. And wherever you are right now, just feel your contact to the earth. That may be the seat underneath you. If it's available to you to place your feet flat on the floor, I encourage you to do so. But let's just take a moment to really access that depth of power that the earth has to offer us. Feeling that this is our home, this is our support, our base, the place where we receive our sustenance for this physical experience. So just take a moment to tap into that deep, deep intrinsic interconnectedness. The earth is the temple of creation, the temple of the creator. And you were placed on this earth for a very special and unique reason. The fact that you breathe this air, that you drink this water, that you walk on this ground. All of this. Connect to it. This deep sustenance that the earth offers, that nature offers. And she's just giving all of this to us freely. And as part of our duty and our sacred agreement to be on here on earth, we also must give something back. So I want you to just take your hand and place it at your heart center and tune into what that is. Tune into your reason for being here today at this training. You could be many other places right now, but you've chosen to be here. So just tap into that depth inside of your heart and ask right now from your heart and from the earth why it is that you're here today and what it is that you have to offer. Tune into what the earth is feeling right now, what the earth is needing right now, what the earth is asking of you right now. And now I want you to either pull up a Word document or grab a pen and a journal or some paper. And I want you to take a moment to journal down what you just got out of that first initial exercise. And you can also pause this video if you need more time to really get into it. Okay. So I created this training because within each individual is a vast and unlimited potential for service and solutions. And yet I see so much of this human potential being wasted in despair and disempowerment. I feel that often the way that our new system and political system is structured is to keep people in a place of fear where they can be easily controlled. So oftentimes when we feel something that's going on that's just overwhelming or too big for us to take, it's easy to go into this place of feeling overwhelmed by a feeling of like I'm just this little tiny being within this massive collective and with forces that are so large and so catastrophic. What can I possibly do? And yet these experiences also, oftentimes bring a feeling of rage or deep emotion inside of us at the same time. And what's important is that we start to use this as our ally, that we start to tap into these deep, passionate emotions, but don't just, put them to waste by criticizing things, by just kind of writing a system off that we think is not capable of making change. What I'm here to tell you is that you are the one that is capable of making the changes that you see need to be activated in the world. So this training is for you if you've been feeling stirred inside about social, political, and environmental injustices. It's for you if you care for the future of life on Earth and want to preserve the sacredness of life for now and for future generations. This training is for you is if you also struggle with feeling discouraged by the overwhelming amount of tragedy in world events. Maybe you feel like you're up against a system that is headed towards destruction and doesn't want to change. Perhaps you feel that just taking care of your own life affairs is enough, much less being able to offer big service into the world. Maybe you don't feel like you really have realistically the time to, make the big changes that are necessary. So I can tell you that I myself have struggled with these challenges. Yes, yet I also see that choosing to be apathetic in the face of the great risks that we're up against is perhaps the greatest risk itself. So this past year, I traveled to India where I participated in the environmental and humanitarian work of Amma, who's commonly known as the Hugging Saint. She travels around the world giving people hugs and raises an incredible amount of money that goes directly towards charity on many different levels. If you want to look up her organization, it's embracingtheworld.org to learn more extensively about what she's doing. And I was blessed by Amma when I was 1 year old. My aunt was a devotee and she brought me to see Amma at this young age, and I've always had a deep affinity with her. And it was always my dream to go and spend time with Amma in India. So since going and spending this time with Amma in India, I have gained a sense of urgency for the need to take care of the planet and to transition our efforts into a more sustainable lifestyle. This is something that I've been aware of for many years now. I mean, it's something that's been really buzzing in the collective consciousness, is this realization of that we're using an incredible amount of resources for what our Earth is capable of sustaining. And Amma is alerting us that the time period of 2020 to the year of 2022 is going to be the start of a very difficult time for the planet if we don't become environmentally proactive. So I'm going to read a little excerpt from her New Year's statement. So she says, "Today we are seriously worried about global warmings and its side effects. If global temperatures continue to increase, the result will be disastrous. The planet may continue to exist, but not a single member of the human race will survive." In December, the leaders of 195 countries signed an agreement at the National Climate Change Conference in Paris. Let us hope and pray their efforts to solve global climate change are successful and that their decisions come to fruition. If things continue to deteriorate at the rate they are, then by 2020 or 2022, the Earth's temperatures will be soaring. We all know about the depletion of the ozone layer in the stratosphere and the ozone hole. This year, let us put more effort into planting trees and doing organic farming. It'd be great if each household were to make their own compost. Even those who live in flats can collect the food waste in a separate container and make compost from it. They can also grow vegetables and trees in either buckets or plastic drums or pots. Carpooling should be encouraged more. The numbers of vehicles on the road have increased, leading to more atmospheric pollution. If there are 5 people working in the same office or in the same area, they can use 1 car instead of 5 people. People can split the cost of fuel. Thus, carpooling will reduce the diesel expenses and reduce the atmospheric pollution as well. It will also reduce the time it takes to reach our destination, as the number of vehicles on the road will decrease. Moreover, with the money saved, many poor people can be helped. Science has been reflecting Amma's recent predictions, including the breakdown of the Earth's electromagnetic shield and a greater risk of solar flares that could melt power transformers and deactivate the power grid, impacting modern life as we know it. I'll be sending an email, a follow-up email with these articles after the training. So Amma's also been, as she mentioned in the article, that natural disasters will increase. She's also mentioned that the ocean's ecosystem could die due to the warmer ocean temperatures, that the ozone layer depletion will cause more and more skin cancer, that we will suffer communication loss due to solar flares. The predictions I've been reading about are it could be up to 3 months with no electricity and modern communication, and that there's also an increase of risk of war over scarce resources. And we're seeing right now, these extreme weather patterns that Amma has also been predicting, such as extreme flooding and extreme droughts with what's happening in Louisiana and California. So it's clear that all of these things are real and that they're upon us, and that we must intensify our efforts. That's what Amma is saying, that if we want to change the course of things, then we must. So in the face of this news, I am grateful that I was able to work with Amma's nonprofit, Amrita Serve, that has been directly implementing necessary changes into action and revealing a pathway to evolution through our collective effort. So these experiences have prompted me to implement both local and global initiatives to plant seeds of transformation. And I'm going to share about these stories today. So in this training, I will share my firsthand inspiring stories of how I've transmuted my personal despair about the state of the planet into powerful opportunities for service and global impact. So as I mentioned, when we hear these things, it's oftentimes just so overwhelming. And yet we have to work with these emotions. We have to work with the depths of them and understand how to not stay in that state of despair, but to transmute it and to treat it as an opportunity. If you hold on just a minute, I'm going to pull up something. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a video that I've posted on Facebook. Just work the technology part of it out.
A seed fell into my dream one night.
Excuse me, just hold on a second. Okay, I'm going to do a screen share with you.
A seed fell into my dream one night. It was cracked in the center, and the cosmos swirled inside. I drank in this primordial elixir. A woman like a wild cat told me that the old paradigms were crumbling. But not to worry, because everything would be repurposed in a higher form. I hovered over the earth, and she asked me to plant the seed, with the promise that it would regenerate thousands of acres of ancient rainforest that had been destroyed by humanity. I never woke from the dream, and now I am planting the seed. The earth is calling. Awaken your dream. A seed fell into my dream one night.
Just a moment. Okay, I'm not sure if you saw that, but if you didn't, I will also send that video. Let me see. Screen share. So. Oh, okay. So just to summarize, what happened there is that I had when I returned home to New Mexico about 4 years ago, after being in Canada for several years, um, I received this dream that just was just kind of amazing. It just felt like it appeared out of nowhere, where this cosmic seed fell through the sky and rolled into my hands, and it was cracked in the center, and within it there was this cosmic energy. I drank this, this cosmic energy in, and I received a message from the seed and from the earth that the seed would help to regenerate thousands of acres of ancient rainforest that had been destroyed by humanity. And when I woke from this dream, at first I was kind of baffled by it. I had not been a person that really knew much about seeds or did any gardening, or had not even really been very much of a environmental activist at that point in time. Yet I just felt this striking significance in it, and I wasn't sure if it was. I wasn't sure, if it was metaphoric. I wasn't sure if it was literal, but I just knew that it was really important, and that I needed to keep this within my heart and within my consciousness. So you may have had an experience such as this, where you just received this kind of uh, divine download or transmission of a way that you could be of service to the earth or humanity at this time. And I want you to take a moment just to reflect on that. And as I mentioned, you can even pause this training for just a moment to give you a time to bring up anything that may be coming up for you, regarding a premonition that you may have had in the past about a way that you can use your gifts to be of service. So I'm going to invite you to write about that now. Okay. So continuing on the journey here, less than a year later after having this dream, I was invited by an environmental filmmaker friend to go visit grandmother Flor de Mayo of the 13 indigenous grandmothers. She lived about an hour and a half south of where I was living. And when I arrived at her land, it just felt so familiar to me. It was like as if I had been there before. And when I stepped into her temple, the first thing that I saw was a massive painting of this golden child, and the golden child was inside of an egg, and the egg was cracked, and within the eyes of the child were the cosmos. And as I looked at this image, which had been a vision of Flor de Mayo's, I felt energy streaming all up and down and through my body, and it just felt to me that that the signs and the symbols were so they were so related that I just couldn't ignore it. And I soon learned more about what Flor de Mayo was doing. So Flor de Mayo has a nonprofit organization called Follow the Golden Path .org, if you want to check it out. And her organization has created a sanctuary for the seeds. And the sanctuary for the seeds came to life when Flor de Mayo learned about what is happening with GMO farming practices, and how this is being used to control our heritage and heirloom seeds and our food supply, and how that could be an endangerment for for life on Earth in the future, and that seeds are really our living heritage. They're something that's been passed down through the generations for the sustenance of life. And when that starts to become endangered, then we as a humanity are in a very vulnerable place. So Flor de Mayo decided that she was going to lay her life down for these seeds, and has since made it her mission to take care of these seeds as if they were her own living children. And at that time, I felt a calling to work with Flor de Mayo's organization. So this began a 2-year process of working with her, doing video documentation in the initial stages of launching the Seed Temple. And during that time, it was incredible. I had the opportunity to really absorb a lot of knowledge from the elders, including many of the indigenous grandmothers. And what I really gained from my time with Flor de Mayo and the grandmothers was the recognition of the sacred consciousness that is dwelling within all of life. And I started to recognize that there is this legacy of life that has been preserved by the past generations, so that we may have the experience on Earth that we have now. And with this also comes our sacred responsibility to preserve life for the future generations. So this to me was like a really different kind of shift in the mentality. I think that, you know, the American dream is kind of built on this concept that, as you know, as it's kind of evolved in the modern times, to kind of do what you can to attain wealth and status for yourself in this lifetime, and maybe to pass that on to your children. However, this mentality of not just thinking about yourself or your own personal children, but thinking about the next 7 generations forward was a big shift in consciousness for me. So right now I want to, we're going to take this wisdom right now, and we're going to take a little journey into the future. So what I want you to do is to go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to visualize a time in the future, and just kind of allow your consciousness to go to whatever point in the future that that you're being drawn to see right now. And I want you to take a look around you and to see what you see. Notice the environment. Notice the people, or lack thereof. Notice the natural world. What is the state of the natural world? What is the state of technology? What is the state of the general consciousness? How are people acting? What's happening? And now I want you to reach inside of yourself and find what is your medicine? What is the medicine that you can bring from the present to help the future, to help this future scenario? What is the action that you can take that can impact a positive outcome? That can help alter or influence the course of things? And I want you to take a moment now to just journal what's coming up. And again, you can pause this video and take more time with it if you need to. This was an exercise that I learned from Flor de Mayo on a day that we were making these seed balls, and these seed balls were something that was very ancient, that was passed down, I think, from the Middle East, and within them there was contained all of this nutritional energy. So that way, in the case of the catastrophe in the future, that these little balls would have enough nutrition in them to be like meal substitutes, so that people could get through in difficult times. And so it was really powerful. Before we were making these physical seed balls for generations in the future, we tapped into this exercise and felt what they were experiencing, and created that connection of love, which really, fuels that sense of responsibility, that our actions are meaningful and will have an impact. Okay, so the next experience that I want to speak to you about is my experience with interfaith communities. Over the years, I've walked through many spiritual circles. Those of you who know me recognize the diverse path that I've had in terms of learning from many different spiritual traditions. And I have found a couple of things working with amongst different communities. And something that was always a challenge for me, that I would notice either on an overt or a subtle level, was that many communities were so invested in their own personal spiritual tradition that they would start to judge another tradition as an inferior path. And I don't think that anybody has ever meant to do this on the conscious level, but it was something that I noticed happening again and again, where if I would, bring up another community, sometimes a person would have a prejudice about that community. And that always hurt me, because I always felt that we have an opportunity as a humanity right now to overcome these prejudices, so that we can work together, so we can harness our energy and become even more powerful together. And I felt that this was always a pattern that was holding us back from collective success. And I'm going to speak about how this experience for me, and the emotions that it brought up propelled me forward into the initiatives that I'm creating now. But for a moment, I want you to just pause, and I want you to really just allow yourself to reflect on your triggers. Reflect on something that you maybe see happening within the news or the collective or within your community. Maybe it's a tragedy that's happened. Maybe it's just something that doesn't have a solution. And just allow yourself to see what areas make you feel really stirred and really passionate. And I want you to take a moment to reflect and write on this. So write down what is bothering you and why. And again, you can pause and take your time with this. When you're ready, play again. Press play again. And now I want you to go deeper. I want you to, there's what has erupted on the surface, that may be like causing the trigger for you. But then if you go deeper, there's a root cause to the issue. What is the root cause to this dilemma that that you're recognizing? So I'm going to give you the example in my situation is I recognized that oftentimes people were very prejudiced to their own path because that was the path that they knew the best. They didn't really have that much firsthand exposure or experience to really experience the path of another person and the deep essence, which was actually very deeply interconnected at the core. And so what I realized for me, what the root core was that it was a lack of experience that was producing this form of ignorance. So I want you now to write, to reflect on what is the antidote. So for what I realized is like if people are having a lack of experience with people from other traditions, other spiritual backgrounds, other cultures, how do we bring them together to help bridge and integrate that? And for you, I want you to look at the root cause of your issue and to come up with an antidote to that. What is the solution? What is the way through? Okay, so I'm going to give you another story, another inspirational story. So about a year ago, I attended the Parliaments of the World's Religions, and this was interesting because I actually had to face some of my own prejudice to even get up and go. When I heard Parliament of the World's Religions, I was a little bit turned off myself because I realized that religion to me kind of had a negative connotation within my own system. I have kind of associated religions with war, with this kind of superiority complex that causes people to go into war over whose faith is better. But you know what? I realized I really needed to be a part of this because it felt like it was a big step for humanity, for people to be coming together from different religions, and I was honestly curious to see what would happen. I was invited by an interfaith group here in Santa Fe called Blessings to be a part of an interfaith prayer circle, and I was a part of offering a song to this group and helping to facilitate the format of it and participate. And basically what I saw there was so cool because they created an opportunity for people to come together and to offer a prayer from each of their different faiths. So in this case, the focus was on world peace. And everybody there had an opportunity to share, like a song or a prayer from their tradition. And it was just amazing to see that at the core of it, that the core teachings were so similar. It maybe had different language, different customs, different ways, but at the core of it, there was something very profound. And one of the most amazing things I experienced was on one of the days. I think it was the first day of the program, and it was just like they had this parade of people, and they were just coming from and wearing their regalia from all different cultures and all different countries, and there was just this feeling of like a joining of nations, of people just coming together from all of these diverse places to unify. And in particular, that theme for that year was around the planet, and what can we do to respect and care for nature and all of life. And much of what happened there was actually agreements that were made there also influenced what happened with the global summit in Paris. So it had an impact. And for me, what it really brought up is that it confronted my own biases, or my own, it wasn't a bias, it was an assumption. It was an assumption that people didn't want to come together and work together, because I recognized that it wasn't true, that they did. And coming from that new place of recognizing, well, people actually do want the opportunity to come together and to work and to collaborate, made me reflect on, well, how can we create more opportunities for that to happen? So on the way back from this training, or excuse me, from this experience, I was with a group of people that we driven together from Santa Fe, driving back from Utah in the car, and we were discussing, well, what can we do? What can we do to take all of the beauty of this experience and to bring that into our own communities? And what we came up with is that we wanted to create an opportunity for people to come together from different faiths and to plant trees, to educate people about the importance of planting trees for the environment and for the future generations. And I'm going to speak about that, how we've brought that to fruition a little bit later in the training, but I have a little bit more material that I want to get through that's going to lead to fleshing out this vision. So the next kind of phase of this journey was, as I mentioned, that this past year, in February actually, I followed my dream to go to India and spend time with Divine Mother Amma at her ashram in Kerala, which is in the south of India. And when I was in India, I mean, it just became so real to me. You know, in the Western world, it's like, yeah, oftentimes, okay, we'll filter our water or whatever, but it's not usually out of a complete feeling of necessity. I mean, if you drink the water, it probably won't really kill you. I mean, but in India, I experienced being sick 3 times, you know, with sanitation issues, and you know, just this intense fear of eating the food and eating the you know, having vegetables that are washed with their water. And it was just shocking to me, the water and the sanitation issues. And it really got me to reflect more deeply on the importance of this form of sustenance, and to keep it pure and to keep it clean. And Amma was like a lotus flower amongst the muck of India. You know, a lot of India is just overpolluted. They don't know what to do with the trash. They're burning it in the streets. And Amma's, you know, was just, when I first came to her, earlier in January, I had been in Goa, and then I met with Amma in Kerala later in the journey, and I was just so deeply touched by her message. She'd spoken some of the things that I mentioned earlier in the training. And another issue that Amma has been personally affected by is the fact that many Indian farmers have been committing suicide because the GMO farming practices have been leaving their farms barren. You know, this form of chemical, genetically modified farming is not working with the harmony of nature, and these farmers just, you know, have been in such a desperate place, and the sense of livelihood of the entire village life has been compromised because of it. You know, people are losing their livelihood. They don't know how to support their families. You know, and this is just, it disintegrates the village life, it disintegrates the family life. There's a lot of people who are moving into the cities and doing things that are you know, not dignified work. I mean, oftentimes children are being sold into sex slavery because their family can't support them. And this is a reality of what's happening over there. So Amma is an amazing example of somebody who's created an antidote to a very grave situation. So I had the amazing job of working with one of her nonprofits called Amrit to Serve. And Amrit to Serve is so cool because their vision is to empower the villagers to live in communities that are prosperous and self-reliant. These are places where people are healthy and educated, and where they lead lives of dignity in a clean, pollution-free environment. Amma says such conditions will lead us to vibrant cultures rooted in India's age-old traditional wisdom. And because villagers are the providers of most of our food supply, this positive existence can lead to a sense of community and gratitude throughout their entire country. So this was just so touching for me to experience this, because I started to really witness through managing the photo archive all of these projects that she had going on in the different states within India, and how people were going in, groups of volunteers were going in and working collaboratively with the villagers to create solutions for the issues that they were facing. So this means working hand in hand with people to understand how to create livelihood. So in some cases, women were learning how to create goods out of recycled materials. So collecting trash and making them into purses, for example. And then Amas would take these purses on tour, and she would sell them, and then the money goes back and directly supports the community. So she was working together to find solutions, and bringing permaculture. That was another amazing thing that I really experienced, was that in some of these places where their land was really dried up and underutilized, they were going in, and they were often, in this case, it was a Westerner and a Brazilian that brought permaculture practices into the community, and they didn't speak the native tongue, but they would draw pictures. And what was amazing to me was that the ones who were really, really involved were the children. They were observing how to plan these designs and draw pictures, and started even drawing their own pictures. And I saw countless pictures of all of these children, staying up late, carrying trees around, planting them. And so basically, it just gave me so much hope and inspiration that there is a higher path, and that we are capable of creating this higher path with initiatives and just shifts in our consciousness, and an opportunity to allow others to step into that reality. And these children are receiving a firsthand example of how they can be the caretakers of the earth. And that's going to impact the entire next generation. Another thing that's amazing about Amma's program is that she has one of the best universities in the entire country there, and she is taking these children, or these university students, I should say, young university students, and she's giving them an experience to intern within these communities. So they go in and they start to interview the villagers and the farmers, and to see what kind of issues they're facing and help them to problem solve. And this is giving these young people a firsthand example of what they can do as they start to go into positions of power and making policy, to design life in a way that it is more comparable to village life. So it's not just extinguishing village life, but it's supporting it to grow and to thrive. And so this type of intergenerational thinking is just so powerful, and I was so deeply touched and inspired by this. And of course, Amma, one of her biggest things that she's advocating for is for the trees. So Amma says that trees and plants are absolutely necessary for the purification of vital energy, the life force. If everyone participates in tree planting, in just a short period, we can restore nature's beauty to face the world. So what I have done is along with the interfaith group of individuals from the Parliament of the World's Religion, in fall 2015, I've created an initiative called the Global Peace Tree Movement. And this movement was created to bring people together from across backgrounds and faiths to join together, and no faiths, just people who want to come together and plant trees, To do this in an effort to plant more trees and to raise awareness about their vital importance to life on Earth now and for future generations. And since coming home, we've already begun these ceremonies, and we have been collaborating with interfaith groups here in Santa Fe. So far, the Antioch Church has become involved. And also the Sikh community has become involved. And next year we have a plan to really utilize our interfaith network systems to reach out to different organizations who are interested in stewarding tree planting ceremonies. So what this will do is it will bring people together from different communities and give them an opportunity to come into the community of a specific spiritual tradition and to have an experience interacting with people, praying together for a common cause of world peace, raising awareness about the importance of becoming more proactive within our organized faith communities and also other communities, to really start to see how together we can create these proactive solutions. And the goal of these ceremonies is also to raise money. So we come together and we bring people, from privileged areas, and if everybody gives some money from their heart based on what they are able to do, then we take that money and we put it in the places where tree planting is being done on a global scale. So, for example, Amma's organization has planted 1 million trees, and with the renewed goal of planting 6 million trees. So right now, the money from our efforts is going directly to there, but I encourage you to support tree planting efforts that are happening all over the planet. There are specific tree efforts where it's most important. So an example is like along the equator. That's one of the places where tree planting is the most important. And there's also an organization called Tree Sisters that I recommend that are working with these areas in the tropics to help with the reforestation effort. Another thing that we can do is to not buy palm oil, because palm oil is one of the major reasons that trees are being cut down in the first place. So as much as possible to preserve the forests that are already there, to become more conscious of that, of not using products that use palm oil. And another thing that is in the good news, which we don't always hear that much of, but exists, is that India, on a little side note, I'll mention that India's anyway, Amma is the devotee. Okay, the president of India is Amma's devotee, and I can't help but to think that maybe this had an impact. But recently, they made an initiative and planted 50 million trees. They had volunteers come together from across the country and planted 50 million trees. And they broke a global record in doing this. And if India can do this, I wonder what's holding us back from being able to do this in the first world. So this is another initiative that I'm going to be working on, is looking at how can we do this on the global scale? How can we inspire people to come together and to volunteer and to plant as many trees as possible and to raise money for the places that really need it? So this brings me to one of the last tools, and right now I want you to reflect on how you can collaborate with an existing organization to maximize your efforts. So that's really important, is that we don't have to reinvent the wheel in everything we're doing. We can work to support the efforts that are already happening. And so I want you to take a moment just to reflect on that. Is there a way that you can collaborate with existing organizations to have more success in what you're doing. And again, if you need more time for this, you can take as much time as you need. Just press pause and then press play again. Okay, and so this is bringing us towards the end of the training today, and I'm going to leave you today with a couple of gifts and opportunities. So my gift to you is that I am creating a Facebook group. This is just the beginning, and this is a Facebook group to unite global activists for world service. So now you've gone through your initiation as a sacred activist in going through this training, and I'm sure that you already have been have it in your heart and are probably already doing things if you're attracted to a training such as this. And through this Facebook group, my vision is for people to have a place where they can post about the solutions. So this isn't a place just to bring up what the problems are. It's, yes, of course, to address the problems is important, but it's a place for people to come together and to collaborate, to say, what can we do about this, to put forth initiatives and support existing initiatives where they're happening, so that way we can put our efforts forward in the place where they're really going to be effective. This is something that I feel is so key during this time, is that we can't give our power away. We can't just expect the new president of the United States or anything like that. We can't put the power outside of ourselves to make the necessary changes. We have to do it ourselves. The power is within our own hands. And so that's what I'm encouraging you to do. I'm encouraging you to take whatever is arising within you passionately and apply it into meaningful service in your life. And if you're looking to take the next big step with applying your service contribution, I'm here to support you. I have begun big service coaching to be there for individuals, to help spur them on, to help inspire them, to help draw out the wisdom that exists from within, and to take it and to apply it into action, and to help it to be successful, to help it to have maximum impact. So I'm here for you to help you soul search, to help you strategize. And with this program, Big Service Coaching, you will learn how to confront and transform your small self-thinking so you can create a life based on your core values while offering profound service. You will come to recognize and deepen into your unique gifts and potentials so that you can take active steps to fulfill your duty to Mother Earth and humanity. You will learn how to transform your heartbreak and frustration about personal and collective challenges into opportunities for service and self-actualization. And also join the larger global movement of individuals who are committed to preserving the sacredness of life now and for future generations. And for me, as I've observed it over the years, both being coached and also offering coaching to others, is that coaching accelerates the practice. There are so many things in life that can come up as other priorities that take us away from our goals. And coaching will help to keep you on track. Coaching will help you to remember that this is important, this is a priority, and this is your duty. You know, we don't know what we're going to be facing as a humanity, but we have the decision of what we will become in the face of it. You have an opportunity to leave a legacy, and that is what you came to this earth for. So if you are interested in taking this to the next level, I'm offering coaching sessions from 5 packages to 10 sessions. So 5 sessions or or 10 sessions at different price points. And I've tried to keep these price points really affordable for people because I see the value of this, and I really want to support people to move forward with these initiatives. So if you're interested in doing this, I'm offering free breakthrough sessions to discuss deeper what your ideas are and how I can support you on the path of actualizing them. So if you're interested, please email me at whenmaryarose@gmail.com. You can message me on Facebook, but please get in contact with me to set up one of these meetings as soon as possible. And if you are able to do this within the next 24 hours, then I will offer you a 10% discount on the program. So that is my gift to you. I invite you to pass this training on to anybody else that you think could benefit from it. And I thank you for caring. I thank you for showing up and for being with me here today to make a global impact for future generations. Many blessings.